Ladies and gentlemen, thrilled to have you here for this epic debate as we are going toe-to-toe today. Nathan Thompson and Thomp Nathanson are sparring on this most important subject, and very excited, want to let you know we're a nonpartisan channel, so we try to be as neutral as possible. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, Thomp Nathanson has volunteered to go first, but before we do start the timer for him, I want to let you know both his link and Nathan's link I've put in the description. So if you're like, I want more, well, you can get more. Click on those links. They're waiting for you just down in that description box. So very excited, folks. Thomp Nathanson, glad to have you here. Nathan Thompson, glad to have you here. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Happy to be here. Thanks, James. You're awesome. You know, I'm a big supporter. Guys, if you're listening and you haven't subscribed to the channel, I've been listening long enough to where I'm a Patreon. Because I want to keep love what you do, James. I've done these debates. Please don't interrupt me. I just asked you not to interrupt me, so I'm going to go ahead and make a note here.
Thanks.
I just asked you not to interrupt me, so I'm going to go ahead and make a note.
I appreciate that encouragement, and we are stoked as we are going to get the timer started for Thomp. And so I have got 12 minutes. You don't have to use all of it. So if either of you...
I'm going to keep track of all the interruptions.
Very excited for this. So, ladies and gentlemen, this could get pretty wild. I don't know. I mean, who knows? So, gentlemen, the floor is all yours.
I'm going to take my science hammer, Nathan. In SpongeBob Imagination Fairy Tale Science, I've got a beat. You said that nobody. Please stop interrupting me. I'm going to go four under interruptions. Now, are you familiar with who Neil deGrasse Tyson is? I can't believe that you would ask me to give you evidence rotates under things. Now, not only do they just interrupt me again.
Let finish this point and then come right back.
Please, I'm going to count the interruptions, James. Excellent. So now we're going to go from, there is a Coriolis force, guys, and I want to point this out, and please, Nathan, don't interrupt me because I'm keeping track. Well, that's an insult.
The evidence that you were going to bring up. Go ahead, Nathan.
Of course, what I was going to say is because Nathan Thompson believes in SpongeBob Fairy Tale Imagination Land Science, he'll say things like the atmosphere moves with the Earth, and the Earth doesn't rotate under things. Now, I already went over how if the atmosphere moves with the Earth, another interrupted under a field goal. So SpongeBob Imagination Fairy Tale Science to the head. Please stop interrupting me. I'm going to go with four interruptions, and you will agree the Earth does not rotate under hot air balloons, airplanes. I'll agree, Nathan. I appreciate the concession. It looks like we're getting. So now we're going to go from how if the atmosphere moves with the Earth, it would have to increase in velocity. Not only that, but we have jet streams moving 200 and 300 miles an hour east. Sometimes they're moving 200 and 300 miles an hour west, which means they would be outpacing the speed of the Earth with this increase in velocity that we don't experience. So Thomp Nathanson will admit that Earth does not rotate under things. I'll agree, Thomp. I appreciate the concession. It looks like we're getting from your audience in the middle of talking. I want this to be very clear because, and please don't interrupt me. Nathan, you asked me if I want to see it. I'm going to explain. Yes, I do want to see it. So I know you want me to take my clothes off. Fairy Tale, I won't be doing that on air for James. Can I speak now? Uninterrupted. Pointing out the interruptions. The moderator's not helping me on there. Yes, of course. So it's the second law of thermodynamics. All right, so all I want to know is why large bodies of water do not another interruption. We're going to go with 8 on the board. Thank you very much. Tom, so, your explanation for the reason why large bodies of water don't appear to curve is because Earth's real big. 9th interruption. I don't need a couple minutes to explain the second law of thermodynamics. I appreciate you giving me says that, but the most famous scientist I'm going to run the world. So because Nathanson believes in SpongeBob Fairy Tale Imagination Science, I've got to beat him over the head with the science hammer for about 4 or 5 now, telling him that if you have your hand and you put it on a hot stove, you will get burned in all directions. Not excellent. Down. So, I'd like to be able to speak uninterrupted while I cover your 10th point, which was Polaris. That's the 10th interruption. And then, James, I think Nathan can rebut to what I say because then we can just move on. I'm still talking. James, I'm going to have to ask you to step in. You asked me as a favor to come on your channel. I've counted 10 interruptions already, and I won't do another 10. I'll leave.
What we'll do is maybe a few minutes. I think this is what we did. We'll give maybe a few minutes on each side and just flip back and forth. So, Nathan, if you do want to go Thomp Nathanson. If you can do us a favor, we'll let Nathan go for promise. We'll come right back to you, and same thing where Nathan won't be able to interrupt you.
Excellent. So Polaris means pole star.
We'll give maybe a few minutes on each side and just flip back and forth. So, Nathan, if you do want to go.
Excellent. So thank you so much, James, for moderating that. So the second law of thermodynamics is entropy, ladies and gentlemen. If you have an above a hot stove and you touch the hot stove, heat will transfer from the hot stove into your rapidly. It's hot. You're not letting the cold in, you're letting the heat out, and that's being replaced by a lack of a high pressure system, a lack of heat, so you experience cold. And now you can't have a tire. Now I'll just ask one simple question and end on this. Do you think you could have gas pressure around a tire rim without a tire? Chase the sun in orbit 66,600, pay attention. Could a tire rim, and I'll try and be very clear and concise for you, have gas pressure without a tire? I've asked NASA employees, and they ask me if I believe in stuff. We don't need to talk about the B word, so I hope that's a clear and concise explanation of proof. We are on a SpongeBob cartoon spinning globe. Do you want to go ahead and elaborate for the audience on why you think this container proves you can have gas pressure without a container? I'm happy to address your point. It's called perspective. Everything above your head, as it moves away from you, will move towards the apparent horizon based on conditions, atmospheric conditions, because we live in a closed dynamic system. The air is not homogeneous, and which means you're telling me that vacuum isn't contained by something. It's different in all directions. It's inhomogeneous and anisotropic. So a tire with tire around it for an atmosphere, it's why we have a horizon. So to quote you, retarded.
We'll let
and another insult. Are we going to moderate the insults, James, or are we just going to let those fly?
We want to give Nathan a chance to speak, so go ahead, Nathan, on whatever you were going to say. If you do your quick normal shtick with SpongeBob, we'll let Nathan do that and then see what comes after. I think he wants to preface each response with that. So Nathan, if you want to, you got 2 or so minutes.
Yeah, I mean, if you believe and have a good enough imagination, you can think you're SpongeBob and you live in a pineapple under the sea. So science is observation, then hypothesis, then experiments. As obviously a globehead who lives in a SpongeBob reality, people on the opposite sides of the earth, both looking at stars, wouldn't it be daylight on the other side of the earth? That was a question for me. Talking during a question that was for me in the middle of speaking again. Do you know what interrupting is and how it's rude? One, two, three,
Nathan,
four,
we're going to give you a chance to respond to that. Otherwise, we have to go to the next question.
They live in SpongeBob fairy tale science.
All right, thank you.